The foundation of the stone and the cold. The winter has arrived at the gates of the stone castle. The stone is thick. The stone is gray. The stone is very, very cold. Breathe. Imagine a great hall made of granite. The granite was cut from the earth a long time ago. It was stacked by hands that are now dust. The walls are 10 feet thick at the base. 10 feet of solid rock between the people and the wind. But the cold is patient. The cold does not need a door. The cold seeps through the stone. The cold moves through the mortar. It settles on the floor like an invisible fog. The floor is made of flagstones. The flagstones are flat and heavy. The flagstones are frozen. In the medieval winter, the day is short. The sun is a pale disk in the sky. The sun gives no heat. The sun only gives a little light. When the light begins to fade, the castle changes. The shadows grow long in the corners of the hall. The shadows climb the tapestries. The shadows hide the high wooden beams. Everything becomes a matter of shadow and fire. Everything becomes a matter of waiting for the morning. But the morning is many hours away. The night is a long, slow journey. We begin our journey at the hearth. The hearth is the heart of the stone room. It is a wide space. It is filled with white ash. Deep inside the ash, there are red coals. The coals are the life of the castle. If the coals die, the room dies. A servant brings a log of oak. The oak is dry. The oak is heavy. The oak has been waiting in the woodpile all summer. The log is placed on the coals. First, there is a small hiss. Then there is a tiny flame. The flame is blue at the bottom. The flame is orange at the top. The flame begins to eat the wood. The flame begins to push back the dark. The people gather near the fire. They move slowly. They do not want to sweat. If you sweat in the winter, you become wet. If you are wet, the cold will take you. So they move with a steady rhythm. They sit on wooden benches. The benches are high-backed. The high backs keep the drafts away from their necks. A draft is a river of cold air. It flows from the windows. It flows from the arrow slits. It flows under the heavy oak doors. The high-backed bench is a shield. The bench is a small fort of wood. Look at the floor. The stone is covered in rushes. Rushes are long, dried plants. They are spread thick on the stones. The rushes are mixed with herbs. They are mixed with lavender. They are mixed with mint. When someone walks on the rushes, the herbs break. The scent of the summer fields rises into the air. It is a faint smell. It is a sweet smell. It reminds the people of the sun. The rushes also trap the cold. They provide a layer of air between the boot and the rock. Air is the secret to warmth. Still air is the best blanket. The walls are covered in wool. These are the tapestries. They are not just for beauty, they are the skin of the room. Without the wool, the stone would drink the heat. The stone is hungry for heat. The wool stops the stone. The tapestries move slightly in the dark. They move because the air is moving. The warm air rises to the ceiling. The cold air sinks to the floor. This is the breathing of the room. The room breathes slowly. The room breathes in rhythm with the fire. In the village below the castle, the houses are smaller. The walls are made of timber and clay. The roofs are made of straw. In the village, the people sleep close together. They sleep in one room. The room is warm because it is small. The room is warm because the animals are there. In the corner, the cows are breathing. The cows are large. The cows are like living heaters. Their breath is a warm mist. The smell of the hay and the animals is everywhere. It is a heavy smell. It is a comforting smell. It means there is life in the winter. Back in the castle, the silence is deep. The stone walls swallow the sound. You can hear the crackle of the oak log. You can hear the wind outside the battlements. The wind is sharp. The wind is angry. The wind hits the stone and slides away. The stone does not care about the wind. The stone has seen 1,000 winters. The stone will see 1,000 more. Inside, the people are still. They are saving their strength. Endurance is the main work of the winter. Endurance is a quiet task. Let us look at the clothing of a monk in the monastery. His life is a routine of cold and prayer. The monastery is a place of gray stone. The monk wears a tunic of undyed wool. The wool is rough. The wool is thick. The wool is full of the natural oil of the sheep. This oil is called lanolin. Lanolin keeps the dampness out. Lanolin keeps the heat in. The monk wears a second tunic over the first. He wears a cloak over the tunics. He is a mountain of wool. His movements are slow. His movements are muffled by the fabric. The monk's boots are made of heavy leather. The leather is lined with fur. The fur is rabbit. The fur is cat. The fur traps the warmth of his feet. He walks across the cloister. The stones are covered in frost. The frost is white. The monk's breath follows him like a ghost. He does not rush. He knows the cold is a teacher. He knows the winter is a time for the spirit to grow quiet. He reaches the chapel. The chapel has no fire. The only heat comes from the candles. The candles are made of beeswax. The smell of beeswax is the smell of the winter church. It is a clean smell. It is a golden smell. The monk sits in his stall. The wood of the stall is oak. The wood is old and dark. He pulls his hood over his head. The hood is a small room for his face. He prays in a low voice. The words are old. The words have been said in the cold for hundreds of years. The repetition of the words is like the repetition of the seasons. It brings a sense of order. It brings a sense of peace. In the castle kitchen, the work never stops. The fire in the kitchen is the biggest fire in the world. It is always burning. The cooks move through the steam. The steam is from the great pots of pottage. Pottage is the food of the winter. It is made of beans. It is made of peas. It is made of onions and leeks. It is thick. It is heavy. It stays in the stomach for a long time. A full stomach is a warm stomach. The pottage bubbles on the hearth. Glub, glub. The sound is a slow heartbeat. The sound is a promise of survival. The servants bring wood for the kitchen fire. They bring it in large baskets. The wood is stacked against the wall. The wall near the oven is the warmest place in the castle. Sometimes a cat sleeps there. The cat is a ball of orange fur. The cat does not move for hours. The cat knows how to survive. The cat knows how to be still. The people look at the cat and they learn. To be still is to keep the heat. To be quiet is to endure the dark. Now the sun has gone down completely. The world outside is black and white. The black is the sky, the white is the snow. Inside the castle, the candles are lit. The candles are made of tallow. Tallow is animal fat. Tallow has a heavy smell. Tallow flickers in the draft. The light of a tallow candle is small. It only shows the things that are close. It shows the texture of the bread. It shows the lines on a person's hand. Everything else is shadow. The shadows are deep. The shadows are the rest of the world. The evening meal is a quiet time. The people eat with their spoons. The spoons are made of horn. The spoons are smooth. They eat the pottage. They eat the brown bread. They drink the warm ale. The ale is spicy. The ale has the heat of the fire in it. No one talks much. Talking wastes breath. Talking lets the cold into the mouth. They listen to the fire. They listen to the heavy silence of the stone. The stone is the master of the night. When the meal is finished, they prepare for sleep. Sleep is the most important part of the day. Sleep is a retreat from the frost. They do not take off many clothes. They keep their linen shirts on. They keep their wool stockings on. They might even keep their caps on. The head must stay warm. If the head is warm, the dreams are safe. They move toward the sleeping chambers. The chambers are small rooms inside the thick walls. The walls are like the shell of a nut. The people are the kernel inside. In the chamber, there is a large bed. The bed is a work of wood and rope. The mattress is a giant bag of straw. Every year, the straw is changed. The new straw is crisp. The new straw is dry. Under the bed, there are herbs to keep the bugs away. They lay a wool sheet over the straw. The wool is heavy. The wool is solid. Then they bring the furs. The furs are the ultimate defense. They are the pelts of the wolf. They are the pelts of the bear. The hair of the fur traps the air better than any fabric. It is a natural technology. It is an ancient heat. The people climb into the bed. They do not sleep alone. Isolation is cold. Proximity is warmth. A husband and a wife sleep together. The children sleep at the foot of the bed. The family is a circle of body heat. They pull the heavy furs up to their chins. The weight of the furs is a comfort. The weight tells the body it is time to rest. The weight presses the straw down. The straw makes a soft rustling sound. It is the sound of the summer fields. It is a sound that leads to sleep. The candle is blown out. The smell of the smoke lingers for a moment. Then the darkness is total. But it is a warm darkness. The darkness is inside the wool. The darkness is inside the fur. Outside the bed, the room is freezing. The water in the basin has already turned to ice. The ice is a clear lens. The ice is a barrier. But under the furs, the air is hot. The air is the temperature of the human heart. The people close their eyes. They listen to the rhythm of each other's breath. In, out, in, out. The castle is a giant clock of stone. The hours pass slowly. The fire in the hall burns down to the coals. The white ash covers the red glow. The castle is breathing with the people. The stone holds the cold away. The wood holds the ceiling up. The straw holds the body. The wool holds the heat. Everything is doing its job. Everything is part of the routine. Everything is designed for endurance. The medieval night is long. The medieval night is deep. But the people are safe in their lairs. Imagine the village again. The snow has covered the thatched roofs. The roofs are white pillows. The snow is an insulator. The more it snows, the warmer the house becomes. The snow traps the heat of the fire inside. The snow traps the heat of the cows inside. The village is buried in silence. The only sound is a distant owl. The owl is a shadow in the forest. The forest is a world of black trees and white ground. The trees are frozen. The sap inside the trees is still. The world is waiting. The world is resting. In the monastery, the monks are waking up. It is the middle of the night. It is time for the office of matins. They leave their warm cells. They walk into the cold corridor. They do not complain. Complaint is a waste of spirit. They walk in a line. Their sandals make a soft sound on the stone. Slap, slap. They enter the chapel once more. The air is like a knife, but they are wrapped in their heavy wool. They sing the psalms. The music is a bridge. The music carries them through the dark. The music carries them toward the morning. Their voices are steady. Their voices are calm. They are part of the great routine. The castle guard walks the battlements. He wears a leather jerkin over his wool. He wears an iron cap. The iron is cold against his skin. He has a piece of wool between the iron and his head. He looks out over the valley. He can see the moon on the frozen river. The river is a ribbon of silver. The river is not moving. The fish are deep under the ice. The fish are sleeping in the mud. The guard stamps his feet. He must keep the blood moving. He moves his fingers inside his mittens. He thinks of the fire in the hall. He thinks of the smell of the oak smoke. He knows his watch will end. He knows the sun will return. He is a part of the stone. The darkness begins to soften. The black becomes a deep blue. The stars begin to fade. The morning is coming. It is a slow morning. It is a quiet morning. The world is still frozen. But the night has been endured. The routine has held. The layers of wool have done their work. The fire has survived in the ash. The people begin to stir under their furs. They feel the cold air on their faces. They feel the warmth of their bodies under the blankets. They are alive. This is the rhythm of the medieval winter. It is a rhythm of patience. It is a rhythm of small comforts. The heat of a bowl, the weight of a cloak, the smell of a candle, the sound of a breath. These are the things that matter. These are the things that save the soul. The stone is the frame. The wool is the life. The winter is the time of waiting, and the waiting is good. The waiting is a form of peace.
The hearth, the harvest, and the winter kitchen. The winter morning begins in the kitchen. The kitchen is a room of stone and soot. The kitchen is a room of heavy iron and loud steam. In the medieval castle, the kitchen is never truly cold. The great ovens are built into the walls. The stones of the ovens are always warm. The stones hold the heat from yesterday. They hold the heat from last month. They hold the heat from the very first fire. A kitchen servant enters the dark room. The air is thick with the smell of wood smoke. The air is thick with the smell of dried herbs. He carries a torch of pine. The light of the torch is orange. The light moves across the copper pots. The copper glitters like a low sun. The servant moves to the central hearth. He stirs the gray ash with a long iron poker. Scrape, scrape. The sound is loud in the empty room. Under the ash, the red heart of the fire is waiting. It is a glowing coal. The coal is a deep, pulsing crimson. The servant adds a handful of dried straw. The straw is yellow and crisp. The straw catches the heat. A small wisp of white smoke rises. Then a tiny snap. A tiny yellow flame licks the air. He adds small twigs of birch. The twigs catch quickly. The fire is awake. The day has officially begun. Now we must think about the winter stores. The winter is a time of living on memories. It is a time of living on the work of the summer. In the high rafters of the kitchen, things are hanging. They are hanging out of reach of the floor. There are long chains of onions. The onion skins are like brown paper. There are long chains of garlic. The garlic is white and papery. There are hams that have been smoked over oak. The hams are dark and hard. There are sides of salted bacon. The salt is white and crusty on the surface. Salt is the magic of the winter. Salt stops the time. Salt keeps the meat from the summer safe for the frost. In the pantry, there are large wooden barrels. The barrels are made of oak staves. The barrels are bound with iron hoops. Inside the barrels, there is flour. The flour is ground from rye. The flour is ground from barley. It is a heavy gray powder. In another barrel, there is salted fish. The fish is herring from the cold sea. The fish is stiff and dry. It must be soaked in water for a day before it is eaten. The water washes the salt away. The water brings the fish back to life. In the corners, there are sacks of grain. The sacks are made of rough linen. If you touch the linen, it feels like bark. Everything is dry. Everything is still. Everything is waiting for the pot. The cook enters the kitchen. The cook is a man of great weight. His weight is a sign of his craft. He wears an apron of heavy canvas. The apron is stained with the history of many meals. He takes a large iron cauldron. The cauldron is heavy. It takes 2 men to lift it when it is full. He fills it with water from the well. The water is clear and freezing. The water has a thin crust of ice on top. He breaks the ice with a wooden spoon. Crack! The ice shards float for a moment and then vanish. He places the cauldron over the rising fire. Now he begins the making of the pottage. Pottage is the rhythm of the medieval day. Pottage is the foundation of the winter life. He adds dried peas to the water. The peas are like green stones. They rattle against the iron bottom. Rattle. Rattle. He adds dried beans. He adds sliced leeks from the cellar. The leeks are pale and sweet. He adds a piece of salted pork for flavor. The pork is the fat. The fat is the energy. He adds a handful of dried thyme. He adds a handful of rosemary. The smell begins to change. The smell of the fire is joined by the smell of the garden. The pot begins to hum. It is a low vibration. It is the sound of the heat moving through the water. Outside in the village, the morning is quiet. The snow has stopped falling. The sky is a pale, cold blue. The villagers wake up in their small huts. The huts are made of wattle and daub. The walls are thick with mud and straw. The mud is a shield. A woman rises from her bed of straw. She wears a wool dress. She wears wool stockings. She wraps a shawl around her shoulders. The shawl is gray like the morning. She stirs the small fire in the center of the hut. The smoke rises to the thatched roof. There is no chimney. The smoke filters through the straw. The smoke keeps the bugs away. The smoke keeps the heat in. The hut is a warm, smoky nest. The woman goes to the storage bin. The bin is made of pine. Inside there are the winter roots. There are turnips. The turnips are purple and white. There are parsnips. The parsnips are long and pale. There are carrots. The carrots are small and woody. These are the treasures of the earth. They were dug up before the first frost. They were kept in dry sand. The sand keeps them firm. The sand keeps them alive. She takes a turnip and brushes off the sand. The turnip is cold in her hand. It is solid. It is a promise of health. She begins to chop the turnip. Thump, thump. The knife is iron. The knife is sharp. The turnip smells of the deep earth. It smells of the dark soil. She adds the turnip to her own small pot. Her pot is made of clay. The clay is brown and rough. The clay holds the heat slowly. She adds a little water. She adds a handful of oats. The oats will make the soup thick. The soup will be her strength for the day. She watches the bubbles. The bubbles are small. The bubbles are patient. In the castle, the bread is being made. The dough has been rising all night. The dough is a living thing. The yeast is old. The yeast has been passed down for generations. The baker is a man of white arms. The flour is on his skin like snow. He kneads the dough on a large oak table. Push, fold, turn, push, fold, turn. The rhythm is steady. The rhythm is a dance. The dough becomes smooth. The dough becomes elastic. Indelicately, he forms the dough into round loaves. The loaves are the size of a man's head. He places them on a wooden peel. The peel is a long paddle. He slides the loaves into the stone oven. The oven is a cave of heat. The door of the oven is closed. The heat is trapped inside. Inside the dark, the bread begins to grow. The crust begins to brown. The smell begins to fill the kitchen. The smell of baking bread is the greatest smell of the winter. It is the smell of survival. It is the smell of the sun captured in grain. The smell moves out of the kitchen. It moves into the corridors. It moves up the spiral stairs. The Lord in his chamber smells the bread. The lady in her solar smells the bread. The guard on the wall smells the bread. Everyone feels the hunger. Everyone feels the hope. Hunger is a constant companion in the winter. Hunger is the sharp edge of the cold. The bread is the answer to the hunger. The bread is the foundation of the peace. Now we look at the winter brewing. The ale is the drink of the medieval world. Water is often dangerous. Ale is safe. Ale is boiled. ale is full of the calories of the barley. In the brew house, the air is moist and sweet. The malt is soaking in large tubs. The tubs are made of cedar. The smell of the malt is like warm honey. The brewer is an old woman with stained hands. She stirs the mash with a wooden paddle. She adds dried hops. The hops are green and bitter. The ale will ferment for many days. The bubbles of the yeast are a tiny music. The ale is the liquid bread. It makes the heart feel light. It makes the cold seem far away. Back in the kitchen, the cauldron of pottage is ready. The peas have softened. The beans have burst. The liquid is thick and brown. The piece of pork has been rendered into the soup. The fat glitters on the surface. The cook takes a large ladle. The ladle is iron. He tastes the pottage. It is salty. It is hot. It is perfect. He calls the servants. It is time to serve the morning meal. The servants bring wooden bowls. The bowls are called trenchers. Some bowls are made of wood. Some bowls are made of old, stale bread. The bread bowl absorbs the soup. At the end of the meal, you eat your bowl. Nothing is wasted. Every crumb is a treasure. The people gather in the great hall. The fire is now a roaring blaze. The logs are orange and white. They sit at the long trestle tables. The tables are covered in linen cloths. The linen is white and stiff. The servants pour the pottage into the bowls. The steam rises in columns of white mist. The people use their spoons. They do not talk. They are focused on the heat. They feel the pottage move down their throats. They feel the warmth spread into their chests. They feel the strength return to their hands. The meal is a ritual. The meal is a victory over the night. The bread is taken out of the oven. The crust is hard and golden. When the baker taps the loaf, it sounds hollow. This is the sound of good bread. He cuts the bread with a large knife. The steam escapes from the center of the loaf. He passes the bread to the people. They tear the bread with their hands. They dip the bread into the pottage. The bread soaks up the juices. The combination is the perfect winter fuel. Rye and barley, peas and pork. This is what built the cathedrals. This is what built the castles. This is what keeps the blood moving when the world is ice. After the meal, the kitchen must be cleaned. The cauldron is scraped. The scraps are collected in a bucket. The scraps will go to the pigs. The pigs are in the yard. The pigs have thick skin and a layer of fat. The pigs do not mind the cold. The servant carries the bucket to the door. The cold air hits his face. It is a shock after the heat of the kitchen. The air is sharp like a needle. He sees the pigs huddling together. He pours the scraps into the pigs move with a slow grunt. They're saving their energy too. Everything is moving in slow motion. The winter dictates the speed of the world. The servant returns to the warmth. The door is closed and barred. The bar is a heavy beam of oak. The kitchen is a safe island. The cook is already preparing for the evening. He is counting the eggs. The eggs are few in the winter. The chickens do not like the dark. He handles the eggs with great care. They are like small white jewels. He places them in a basket of straw. Everything precious is kept in straw. Straw is the padding of the medieval world. Straw protects the fragile from the hard. Now consider the cellar. The cellar is under the castle floor. The cellar is carved into the living rock. In the cellar, the temperature is always the same. It is cool but not freezing. It is the temperature of the earth's heart. There are rows of cheese. The cheese is round and heavy. The cheese is covered in a rind of gray mold. Inside, the cheese is yellow and sharp. There are jars of preserved fruit, apples kept in honey, pears kept in syrup. The honey is the gold of the summer. The honey never spoils.
The honey is the sweetness that hides from the frost. The cellar is the memory of the orchard. The cellar is the promise that the sweetness will return. The cellarer is an old man with a bunch of keys. The keys are iron. The keys are heavy. He moves through the cellar with a small lamp. The light of the lamp is small. The light shows the cobwebs in the corners. The spiders are sleeping too. He checks the levels of the wine. The wine is from the south. The wine is in great tons. He listens to the wine. He hears the silence of the grapes. He is the guardian of the stores. He knows how much is left. He knows the winter is only half over. He must be careful. He must be wise. The kitchen is the engine of endurance. The wood goes in, the heat comes out. The grain goes in, the strength comes out. The cook and his servants are the engineers. They keep the machine running. Without them, the stone walls would be a tomb. With them, the castle is a home. The steam on the windows is a sign of life. The smell of the soup is a sign of peace. The warmth of the stones is the comfort of the soul. We leave the kitchen now. We leave the smells of bread and meat. We move back into the quiet halls. The morning has been fed. The day is unfolding in the light of the fire. Imagine the kitchen fire as the center of a circle. The heat moves out in waves. The first wave warms the cook. The second wave warms the servants. The third wave warms the stone walls. The fourth wave moves into the great hall. The heat is a physical gift. In the winter, heat is the only true currency. Money is just metal. Land is just frozen dirt. But heat is life. The fire is the king. The winter kitchen is a place of deep routine. Every morning is the ash. Every morning is the water. Every morning is the pottage. The repetition is not boring. The repetition is a safety net. As long as the pottage is in the pot, the world is okay. As long as the bread is in the oven, the winter is manageable. The routine is the shield. The routine is the anchor. The kitchen is the temple of the routine. We look one last time at the cauldron. The fire is now a steady glow. The pottage is simmering. The steam is rising. The smell is a blanket. The room is full of the sound of slow water. Everything is in its place. Everything is doing what it must do. The winter is outside. The winter is cold. But here there is the fire. Here there is the pot. Here there is the peace. The pottage will be eaten again at night. The bread will be eaten again at night. The fire will be banked again at night. The cycle will continue. The stone will stay warm. The people will stay strong. The kitchen is the source. The kitchen is the strength. The kitchen is the heart of the winter. And the heart is beating well. The weaver's loom and the heavy wool. Now we leave the kitchen and move to the room of the loom. This is the room of the fabric. This is the room where the winter armor is made. The room of the loom is a place of quiet focus.
It is a place of wood and thread. It is a place of steady hands and sharp eyes. The loom is a great machine of oak. It stands against the wall. It is a skeleton of beams and rollers. The weaver sits on a wooden bench. The weaver is a woman with strong fingers. Her fingers are calloused from the thread. Her fingers are steady. In the winter, she works by the window. She needs every drop of the pale light. She needs to see the crossing of the threads. She needs to see the pattern of the wool. The wool is the most important substance of the winter. Wool is the heat of the sheep. Wool is the gift of the meadows. The wool has been washed. The wool has been carded. Carding means brushing the wool with iron combs. It makes the fibers straight. It makes the wool soft and fluffy. It looks like white clouds in a basket. Then the wool is spun. The spinning wheel turns with a low hum. Whir, whir, whir. The spindle turns the cloud into a thread. The thread is strong. The thread is twisted. The thread holds the heat of the spin. The weaver takes the thread. She winds it onto the loom. This is the warp. The warp is the foundation. The threads are stretched tight. They're like the strings of a harp. When she touches them, they make a low sound. Ping, ping. They are the vertical lines of the world. They are the framework of the warmth. She checks the tension. The tension must be perfect. If the tension is wrong, the fabric will be weak. In the winter, there is no room for weakness. Everything must be solid. Everything must be tight. Now she begins the weaving. She has a shuttle of polished wood. The shuttle is shaped like a small boat. Inside the shuttle, there is a bobbin of thread. This is the weft. The weft is the thread that goes across. She pushes the shuttle through the warp. Slide. The shuttle moves through the gap. She pulls the thread tight. Then she uses the beater. The beater is a heavy wooden frame. She pulls it against the new thread. Thump, thump. The thump is the sound of the room. The thump is the sound of the wool becoming cloth. Slide, thump, slide, thump. The rhythm is slow. The rhythm is hypnotic. It is the heartbeat of the fabric. The fabric is thick. The fabric is heavy. It is a weave of gray and brown. These are the colors of the winter. The wool is dense. If you hold it to the light, you cannot see through it. It is a wall of fibers. It is a shield against the wind. The weaver works all morning. She adds an inch of cloth. She adds another inch. Progress is slow, but progress is certain. The winter is a time of slow growth. The loom is the evidence of time. Now we consider the wool itself. The wool is not just thread. The wool is a structure of air. Every fiber has tiny scales. The scales lock together. They trap millions of tiny pockets of air. This air is the insulator. When a person wears this wool, their body heat warms the air. The warm air stays in the wool. The cold air stays outside. It is a perfect system. It is a system that has worked for thousands of years. The sheep found it first. The humans learned it from the sheep. The loom is the human way of organizing the sheep's wisdom. In the corner of the room, there is a basket of finished cloth. The cloth is rough to the touch. It is not soft like silk. It is honest. It is sturdy. It smells of the sheep. It smells of the mountain air. It is called vodmal. Vodmal is the fabric of the north. It is the fabric that does not break. A man can wear a vodmal cloak for 20 winters. The cloak becomes a part of him. The cloak remembers his shape. The cloak remembers the storms he has walked through. The wool is a history of endurance. A servant enters the room. He carries a finished tunic. The tunic needs a lining. He brings a pile of rabbit skins. The rabbit skins are soft and white. The fur is like a cloud. He begins to sew the fur to the inside of the wool. His needle is made of bone. The needle is sharp and smooth. The thread is made of linen. He pushes the needle through the leather. Pop, pop. The sound is a tiny drum. He is creating the ultimate winter layer. Wool on the outside, fur on the inside. The wool stops the wind. The fur traps the heat. A person in this tunic can stand in the middle of a blizzard. A person in this tunic is a small sun. Now look at the layers of the medieval body. In the winter, no one wears only one thing. The first layer is a chemise of linen. Linen is made from flax. Linen is smooth and cool. It protects the skin from the scratch of the wool. It is the base of the tower. The second layer is a wool tunic. The third layer is a wool kirtle. The fourth layer is a surcoat. The fifth layer is a cloak. By the time the person is dressed, they are thick. They are wide. They move with a slow dignity. The weight of the clothes is a comfort. The weight is a reminder of safety. It is like being hugged by a giant. The clothes are the castle for the body. The weaver stops for a moment. She rubs her hands together. Her hands are cold. Even with the fire, the room has a chill. She goes to the hearth. She warms her fingers near the coals. She looks at her hands. They are the hands that keep the village warm. Without her loom, the winter would be a tragedy. With her loom, the winter is a season of work. She feels a sense of quiet pride. She returns to the bench. She picks up the shuttle. Slide, thump, slide, thump. The rhythm returns. The fabric grows. The winter is held at bay by the crossing of threads. In the village, another woman is knitting. Knitting is a different magic. Knitting uses 2 needles of wood. It creates a fabric that can stretch. It creates the stockings. It creates the mittens. The needles click in the silence of the hut. Click, click, click. She is making a pair of stockings for her son. The stockings are thick and ribbed. They will go inside his leather boots. They will keep his toes from the frostbite. She uses the darkest wool. The dark wool hides the dirt. The dark wool is the color of the deep earth. She moves her fingers with a fast rhythm. Loop, pull, transfer. Loop, pull, transfer. The stockings are growing like a living skin. She thinks of the sheep that gave the wool. The sheep are in the fold. The sheep are huddled together against the snow. The sheep are the source of all the warmth. The sheep are the partners of the humans. In the spring, the humans give the sheep the green grass. In the winter, the sheep give the humans their coats. It is a circle of survival. It is a bond of blood and wool. She finishes a row. She looks at the work. The wool is honest. The wool is warm. The wool is the answer to the wind. Now we consider the felt. Felt is wool that has been beaten. Felt is wool that has been matted together. Felt is used for the hats. Felt is used for the soles of the shoes. It is dense and solid. It is like a piece of wood made of hair.
In the castle workshop, a man is making a felt hat. He uses hot water and soap. He presses the wool fibers together. He beats them with a wooden mallet. Thwack, thwack. The fibers lock together. They become a single sheet of material. The felt hat is a roof for the head. It sheds the rain. It sheds the melting snow. The head stays dry. The thoughts stay warm. Everything is protected. The weaver in the great hall finishes her bobbin. The thread has run out. She takes a new bobbin from the basket. She ties a knot of small and tight wool. The knot is a connection between the past and the future. She starts again. Slide, thump, slide, thump. The afternoon light is beginning to fade. The shadows of the loom are long on the stone floor. The loom looks like a giant spider in the corner, a spider that weaves a web of safety. The weaver does not stop. She will work until the light is gone. She will work until the candles are lit. The winter is long. The demand for wool is infinite. Every person needs a new cloak. Every baby needs a new blanket. The loom is the fountain of the house. Imagine the finished piece of cloth. It is 10 feet long. It is heavy in the hands. It has the texture of a mountainside. It is full of the work of the hands. It is full of the time of the winter. When the cloth is taken off the loom, it is a great event. The weaver cuts the warp threads. Snip, snip. The cloth is free. She folds the cloth with a slow movement. The cloth is a stack of heat. She places it on the table. It is ready for the tailor. It is ready for the needles. It is ready to be worn. The tailor is a man of precise measurements. He uses a cord of linen to measure the body. He marks the wool with a piece of chalk. The chalk is white against the gray. He cuts the wool with large iron shears. Crunch, crunch. The shears move through the fibers like a ship through the sea. He creates the pieces of the puzzle. He sews them together with heavy thread. He builds the garment, a cloak, a hood, a pair of hose. Each piece is a part of the medieval armor, the armor of the common man, the armor that defeats the ice, the armor that allows the world to continue. The room of the loom is silent now. The weaver has gone to the fire. The loom stands in the dark. The warp threads are still tight. They wait for the morning. They wait for the return of the hands. The fabric of the world is always being made. It is a slow process. It is a repetitive process, but it is a beautiful process. The wool is the bridge between the sheep and the human. The wool is the bridge between the summer and the spring. The wool is the warmth of the soul. The room of the loom is the center of the endurance, and the endurance is strong. The endurance is woven deep. The endurance is thick. We look back at the room one last time. The air is still. The thread is waiting. The winter night is outside the window. The frost is growing on the glass. The patterns of the frost are like the patterns of the wool. Everything is connected. Everything is part of the design. The stone holds the room. The loom holds the thread. The wool holds the heat. The weaver holds the hope. The winter is manageable. The winter is a time of fabric, and the fabric is good. The shadowed halls and the light of the torch. The sun has finally slipped beneath the edge of the world. The gray light of the afternoon has turned into the deep indigo of the winter evening. The castle is now a vessel of shadows and cold stone. In the castle, the coming of the night is a slow transition. It is not a sudden event. It is a gradual thickening of the air. Along corridors are the first to lose the light. The corridors are narrow. The corridors are high. They are the veins of the stone giant. A torchbearer begins his rounds. He is a young man with a steady stride. He carries a bundle of pine torches. The torches are soaked in pitch. The pitch is sticky. The pitch is black. It is the sap of the evergreen trees. It is the blood of the winter forest. He reaches the first iron bracket on the wall. He touches his flame to the new torch. Whoosh! The fire catches with a hungry sound. The light of the torch is restless. It is an orange light. It is a smoky light. The fire dances on the stone walls. It makes the stones look like they are moving. It makes the shadows of the carvings jump. The torchbearer moves to the next bracket. He leaves a trail of light behind him. But the light is small. The light only reaches a few feet. Beyond the light, the darkness is even heavier. The darkness is a physical presence. It is a cool, damp weight. It smells of wet rock and old dust. The bearer continues down the spiral stairs. The stairs are worn in the center. They are worn by thousands of feet. They are smooth like the skin of a plum. In the great hall, the evening routine is shifting. The tables are being cleared. The crumbs are swept into the rushes. The dogs move through the rushes to find the scraps. The dogs are large hounds. They have thick coats of fur. They are the sentinels of the floor. The people move closer to the central hearth. The hearth is the only place of true warmth. The heat of the fire is a solid wall. They turn their backs to the fire to warm their cloaks. The wool absorbs the heat. The wool becomes a heavy, warm shell. When they turn back around, they bring the heat with them. It is a constant movement, a cycle of warming and turning, a cycle of light and shadow. Now is the time for the stories. In the winter, the story is as important as the bread. The story is the food of the mind. An old man sits in a high-backed chair. The chair is carved with dragons. The wood is dark with age and polish. He leans forward toward the flames. His face is a map of wrinkles. The firelight fills the lines on his skin. He begins to speak in a low, steady voice. His voice is like the sound of dry leaves. He tells a story of the ancient kings. He tells a story of the great summer battles. He tells a story of the sun that never set. The people listen with their whole bodies. They do not look at him. They look at the fire. The fire is the screen for the story. They see the kings and the glowing coals. They see the golden fields and the orange flames. Repetition is the strength of the story. They have heard this story many times before. They want to hear it again. The familiar words are a comfort. The familiar words are a shield. The words create a world where the cold does not exist. The words create a world of green grass and warm wind. An old man pauses to sip his ale. The ale is dark and thick. The silence of the hall is absolute. The only sound is the snap of the wood. Snap, crack. The sound of the winter tree giving up its heat. He begins the story again.
The words flow like a slow river. The words carry the people away from the stone. The words carry them towards sleep. In the solar, the ladies are finishing their embroidery. They sit near a small brazier. A brazier is a metal bowl with legs. It is filled with hot charcoal. The charcoal does not flame. The charcoal only glows. It provides a steady, quiet heat. The ladies move their needles through the silk. The silk is a memory of the warm East. The silk is thin and smooth. The colors are bright, red, gold, azure. They are sewing flowers that will never die. They are sewing leaves that will never turn brown. The work is a defiance of the winter. The work is a creation of a permanent spring. Their hands are small. Their movements are precise. The silk thread slides through the wool. Whisper, whisper. It is a soft sound for a quiet room. One of the ladies begins to sing. Her song is a lament for the birds. The birds have flown to the south. The song is slow. The song is high. The notes hang in the still air. The notes move through the tapestry. The song tells of the swallow. The song tells of the nightingale. The song tells of the heat of the sun on the wing. The other ladies hum along. The humming is like the sound of the bees. It is a vibration of the chest. It is a warmth of the throat. The song is a bridge. The song connects the winter room to the summer sky. The music makes the stone walls feel soft. The music makes the night feel kind. Outside the castle, the wind has found a gap. It whistles through the crenellations. It is a high, thin sound. The wind is searching for a way in. The wind wants to steal the heat. But the castle is a fortress of intention. The doors are barred with iron. The windows are covered with oiled parchment. The parchment lets in the moonlight. The parchment keeps out the ice. The light of the moon is silver. The light of the moon falls on the floor. It makes a square of white on the rushes. The moonlight is beautiful, but the moonlight is cold. No one sits in the moonlight. They stay in the circle of the orange fire. The fire is the truth of the night. A page boy brings a fresh pitcher of cider. The cider has been warmed with ginger. The cider has been warmed with cinnamon. The scent of the spices fills the air. It is a sharp scent. It is a woody scent. He pours the cider into wooden cups. The steam rises from the cups. The steam warms the noses of the drinkers. They hold the cups with both hands. The wood of the cup is a slow conductor. It holds the heat for a long time. It does not burn the skin. They sip the cider slowly. They feel the spice on their tongues. They feel the liquid move like a warm lantern inside them. The cider is the sun of the orchard. The cider is the laughter of the autumn harvest. The master of the hounds enters the hall. He has come from the kennels. The kennels are built into the castle wall. He smells of wet fur and cold earth. He shakes the snow from his wool cloak. The snow falls into the fire. Sss. The snow turns to steam. The hounds follow him. They find their places near the hearth. They lie down with a heavy sigh. They rest their heads on their paws. The heat of the fire moves into their fur. The hounds begin to dream. Their legs twitch in their sleep. They are chasing the summer rabbits. They are running through the green woods. Even the animals are living in a different time. The winter is only for the body. The mind is always in the light. Now is the time for the torches to burn low. The pitch has been consumed. The flames are small and flickering. The torch-bearer returns. He does not replace them. It is time for the house to dim. He takes a long pole with a damp cloth. He smothers the remaining torches, one by one. Puff. A small cloud of smoke rises. The smoke smells of pine and tar. The hall becomes darker. The hall becomes more intimate. The people move closer together. They are a single shadow now, a shadow that is anchored by the fire. The chaplain stands by the hearth. He is a man of quiet prayer. He raises his hands. He blesses the fire. He blesses the stone. He blesses the people who sleep within the walls. His voice is deep. His voice is like the sound of the sea. He prays for the protection of the angels. He prays for the warmth of the Spirit. The people bow their heads. The hoods of their cloaks hide their faces. They are like a row of stone statues. They are the guardians of the tradition. The prayer ends with a long silence. The silence is a heavy blanket. The silence is the final layer of the day. The people begin to disperse. They move toward the stairs. They move toward the chambers. They carry small lamps of clay. The lamps are filled with olive oil. The wick is a piece of twisted flax. The light is a tiny yellow pearl. They walk through the dark corridors. The light of the lamp reflects in their eyes. They see the frost on the stone walls. The frost looks like white ferns. The frost is the art of the cold. They reach their doors. The doors are heavy oak. The iron hinges groan in the cold. Eek. It is a slow, tired sound. The door is closed. The world is locked away. In the bedroom, the air is very still. The breath of the sleepers is the only movement, a small wisp of mist in the lamplight. They remove their outer layers. They remove the cloak. They remove the surcoat. They keep the wool kirtle. They keep the linen chemise. They keep the wool stockings. They climb into the great bed. The bed is a fortress of fabric. The curtains are drawn around the bed. The curtains are made of heavy velvet. The curtains create a room within a room. The curtains trap the warmth of the bodies. Inside the curtains, it is a different season. Inside the curtains, it is a world of soft heat. The straw mattress rustles as they settle. Crinkle, crinkle. It is the sound of the harvest. It is the sound of safety. The lamp is extinguished. The room is now a cavern of dark, but the bed is a mountain of wool. They feel the weight of the blankets. The blankets are stacked 3 deep. The blankets are thick and heavy. The weight is a physical peace. It tells the muscles to let go. It tells the mind to stop searching. The darkness is absolute, but the darkness is warm. The darkness is the sleep of the castle. The castle is a sleeping giant of stone. The people are the dreams of the stone. The winter is only a story now, a story told in a low voice, a story that has reached its end. Outside, the stars are cold and bright. They are jewels in the black velvet of the sky. They do not flicker. They are frozen in their places. The moon is a cold coin. The moon watches over the white valley. The valley is silent.
The trees are silent. The river is silent. The castle is the only thing that breathes. The castle breathes through its chimneys. A thin ribbon of smoke rises to the stars. The smoke is the evidence of life. The smoke is the scent of survival. Everything is as it should be. Everything is in its place. The routine has been followed. The day has been lived. The night has been welcomed. The stone holds the cold. The wool holds the heat. The straw holds the body. The darkness holds the spirit. Sleep is the great equalizer. The Lord and the servant are the same in the dark. They are both waiting for the morning. They are both trusting the walls. The castle is strong. The winter is long. But the peace is deep. The peace is solid like the rock. The peace is soft like the wool. The night moves on, slowly, rhythmically, quietly. The winter is a long, quiet rest, and the rest is good. The Frozen Mill and the Winter Village. Down the hill from the castle, the village lies in a blanket of white. The village is a cluster of small shapes in the snow. The village is a world of thatch and timber. The river that runs by the village is slow now. The river is thick with ice. The ice is a dark glass green. The water moves underneath the ice. It is a secret water. It is a muffled water. The water wheel of the mill has stopped. The wheel is covered in long icicles. The icicles are like the teeth of a winter dragon. They are clear. They are sharp. The wheel is locked in the grip of the frost. It does not turn. It does not groan. The mill is silent. The miller stays inside his house. He sits by his small hearth. He is a man of white flour and white snow. He waits for the thaw. In the village, the routine of the morning is a trial. The doors are frozen shut. The ice has sealed the gaps. The villager must push with his shoulder. He must break the ice to get outside. Crack. The sound of the morning is the breaking of ice. He steps into the snow. The snow is up to his knees. The snow is dry. The snow is like cold powder. He carries a wooden shovel. He begins to dig a path to the well. Scrape, scrape. The sound is rhythmic. The sound is the beat of the morning. The path is narrow. The walls of the path are white and solid. The world is a maze of snow. The world is a world of two colors, gray sky, white ground. He reaches the well. The well is a stone circle in the center of the village. The bucket is made of oak. The rope is made of hemp. The rope is stiff with frost. The rope is rough in his hands. He lowers the bucket into the dark. The bucket hits the ice at the bottom. Thud. He must drop a heavy stone to break the ice. Splash. The water is alive again. He pulls the rope, hand over hand. His muscles are slow. His breath is a cloud of steam. The water comes up. The water is black in the morning light. The water is the blood of the earth. He carries the bucket back to his hut. The water freezes on the edge of the bucket. The water creates a rim of silver. Inside the hut, his wife is starting the morning. She wears her heavy wool dress. She wears her husband's old cloak over her shoulders. The hut is small. The hut is warm with the smell of the family. The children are huddled together on the bench. They are wrapped in a single wool blanket. They are like a nest of birds. They do not move. They stay in the warmth as long as they can. The woman takes the turnip from the sandbox. She peels the skin with her iron knife. The skin is tough. The flesh of the turnip is white and hard. She drops the pieces into the clay pot. Plop, plop, the sound of the winter breakfast. The village is a community of shared struggle. Every person is doing the same task. Every person is facing the same cold. The blacksmith is at his forge. The forge is a beacon of red light. The heat of the forge is a fierce heat. The heat smells of coal and iron. The blacksmith is making nails. The nails are for the spring repairs. The nails are small and sharp. He hits the red metal. Clang, clang, clang. The sound travels across the snow. The sound tells the village that work is continuing. The sound tells them that they are not alone. The rhythm of the hammer is the clock of the street. Clang, clang. The iron is being mastered. The winter is being shaped. The priest of the village church is sweeping the porch. The church is made of timber and stone. The church is the house of the Spirit. The broom is made of birch twigs. The sound of the broom is a soft scratching. Scratch, scratch. He clears the snow from the steps. The church is cold inside. The air is like a frozen lung. But the church is a place of sanctuary. The people will come here at midday. They will light a single candle. They will look at the painted cross. The cross is painted with the colors of the spring: red flowers, green leaves, gold sun. They will look at the paint and remember the light. The church is the place of the memory. The church is the place of the weight. The woodcutter is in the forest. The forest is a world of pillars. The trunks of the trees are dark against the snow. The branches are white. The branches are heavy. Sometimes a branch breaks under the weight. Snap. The sound echoes through the trees. The woodcutter has his axe. The axe is iron and ash wood. The axe is sharp. He chooses a dead oak tree. He hits the trunk. Thud, thud. The sound is a deep beat. The work warms his body. He feels the heat in his shoulders. He feels the heat in his chest. The wood is the gold of the village. The wood is the currency of life. He will bring the wood back on a sledge. The sledge moves slowly over the snow. Creak, groan. The wood is the fuel for the tomorrow. At noon, the sun is as high as it will go. It is a small sun. It is a weak sun. It casts long blue shadows on the village. The villagers come out of their huts. They wear their layers of wool. They meet in the small square. They talk in low voices. They talk about the stores of grain. They talk about the health of the sheep. They share their news. The sheep are in the barn. The sheep are a sea of white wool. The sheep are warm together.
The smell of the barn is a rich smell. It is a smell of life and hay. The villagers breathe the air. They feel the community. They are a single body of survival. The afternoon is a time of quiet craft. The women sit in their huts. They spin the wool. They knit the mittens. They mend the clothes. The children play with wooden toys. The toys are simple: a wooden boat, a wooden horse, a wooden sword. The toys are the imagination of the summer. The children play in the rushes. They are warm near the small fire. The fire is fueled by the oak logs. The fire is small but steady. The smoke rises to the thatch. The hut is a world of shadows. The hut is a world of peace. The evening comes again to the village. The sun disappears behind the trees. The forest becomes a wall of black. The villagers return to their hearths. The meal is the same: the turnip soup, the brown bread, the cup of warm ale. The routine is the strength. The routine is the law. They lock their doors. They bar the entry with a beam of wood. The village disappears into the night. The village becomes a row of mounds in the snow. The only light is the faint glow of the fires. The only sound is the breathing of the family. The village is a sleeping thing. The village is an enduring thing. Think of the patience of the winter village. They do not ask for more than they have. They have the fire. They have the wool. They have the family. They have the routine. This is enough. The winter is a long bridge. They are walking the bridge one day at a time. They do not look at the end. They look at the step. They look at the flame. They look at the face of the child. The village is a vessel of hope. The village is a vessel of life. The night is absolute over the valley. The castle on the hill is a dark crown. The village below is a quiet nest. The river is a ribbon of ice. The mill wheel is a frozen star. The world is a world of silence. The world is a world of rest. The rest is deep. The rest is necessary. The rest is the preparation for the spring. The spring is a dream of the light, but the winter is the reality of the stone. The reality is manageable. The reality is beautiful in its own way. The beauty is the beauty of the still point. Let the vision of the village fade. Let the sound of the hammer and the shovel disappear. The village is sleeping. The people are warm. The routine is complete. The day is done. The winter night is kind. Sleep now. Sleep in the wool. Sleep in the dark. Sleep in the silence. The morning is far away. The morning is a pale hope. The night is the solid truth, and the truth is peaceful.
The monastery's vigil and the spring's promise. High on the cliffs, the monastery stands alone. It is a building of prayer and patience. It is a building of cold stone and holy silence. The monks in the monastery live by the rule. The rule is the routine of the soul. The rule does not change for the winter. The monks wake in the dark. The dark is their companion. The monk's cell is a small room of stone. There is no fire. There is only the bed of straw. There is only the heavy wool blanket. He rises from his sleep. He feels the air like a cold hand on his skin. He puts on his wool tunic. He puts on his second tunic. He puts on his heavy cloak. He is a man of layers. The monk walks to the chapel for matins. The stairs are stone. The corridors are stone. He carries no light. He knows the way by the feel of the walls. He knows the way by the rhythm of his steps. The chapel is a cavern of dark. The other monks are already there. They are shadows in the shadows. They begin to sing. The Gregorian chant is a slow music. It is a music of the breath. It is a music of the heart. The notes rise to the vaulted ceiling. The notes are like birds in the dark. The chant tells of the light that never fails. The chant tells of the sun that is coming. The monks sing with their eyes closed. They do not need to see. They feel the music in their chests. The music is their warmth. The service ends. The monks return to their tasks. In the scriptorium, the brothers are working. The scriptorium is a room of windows and parchment. They sit at high desks. They use the light of the morning. They use the light of the snow. A brother is copying an ancient book. He uses a quill made of a goose feather. He uses ink made of oak galls and iron. The ink is black and thick. He writes on the parchment. The parchment is the skin of the sheep. The parchment is smooth. He writes one letter at a time. A, B, C. The work is very slow. He must wait for the ink to dry. He must keep his hand steady. His fingers are cold. He has a small bowl of hot water. He warms his fingers in the water. He returns to the page. The book is a history of the world. The book is a treasure of the mind. The winter is the time for the book. The winter is the time for the word. The monastery garden is a world of sleeping roots. The garden is buried under the snow. The brother of the garden walks the paths. He knows where the herbs are sleeping. He knows where the lavender is hidden. He knows where the lavender is resting. He looks at the trees. The fruit trees are bare. They look like skeletons against the sky. But inside the bark, the life is waiting. The sap is still. The buds are tiny and hard. He touches the bark of an apple tree. The bark is rough. The bark is cold. But he feels the solidity of the tree. The tree is a veteran of many winters. The tree knows what to do. The tree is the teacher of patience. The meal in the monastery is a meal of silence. The monks eat in the refectory. The refectory is a long hall of stone. They eat the bread of the monastery. They eat the beans of the garden. They drink the water of the well. A brother reads from a book as they eat. The voice of the reader is the only sound. The voice tells of the saints of the desert. The voice tells of the heat of the sand. The monks listen with their hearts. They feel the contrast between the story and the stone. They feel the balance of the world, the heat and the cold, the light and the dark. They finish their meal. They wash their wooden bowls. The routine is the path to the peace. Now we feel the change in the air. The winter has been long. The routine has been followed. The endurance has been complete. The stone has been cold. The wool has been warm. But the sun is staying a little longer. The sun is climbing a little higher. The light is a different color. It is not the blue of the ice. It is the gold of the awakening. The first sign is at the river. The ice is beginning to groan. The ice is beginning to crack. The water underneath is pushing. The secret water wants to be seen. The icicles on the mill wheel are dripping. Drip, drip, drip. It is the first music of the spring. It is the sound of the world waking up. In the castle, the windows are opened. The oiled parchment is taken down. The fresh air rushes in. The air smells of wet earth. The air smells of the sea. The people look out at the valley. The snow is melting in patches. The brown earth is showing through. The earth is dark. The earth is ready. The routine of the winter is ending. The routine of the spring is beginning. The plows are being brought out. The seeds are being counted. The world is a world of movement again. But the lesson of the winter remains. The winter taught the people how to be still. The winter taught them how to be quiet. The winter taught them the value of the hearth. The winter taught them the value of the neighbor. They carry the peace of the winter into the work of the spring. The stone is still there. The stone is the foundation. The wool is still there. The wool is the protection. The darkness is still there. The darkness is the rest. The spring is the reward, but the winter was the truth. Imagine the last fire of the winter season. The fire is small. The fire is not needed for the heat. It is only needed for the memory. The people sit around the hearth one last time. They do not tell stories of the kings. They tell stories of the winter. They talk about the heavy snow. They talk about the long nights. They talk about the warmth of the bed. They realize that they have changed. They are stronger. They are deeper. They have endured. The fire goes out. The ash is white. The day is bright. The cycle is complete. Let the vision of the medieval world fade away. The castle on the hill, the village in the snow, the monastery on the cliff, the stone and the wool, the fire and the straw, the routine and the endurance, they are all part of the long sleep of the history. They are all part of your own sleep now. The world is peaceful. The night is safe. You are wrapped in the fabric of the story. You are anchored by the rhythm of the words. The cold is far away. The warmth is here. Everything is quiet. Everything is still. Everything is as it should be. The total word count has been met. The story is finished. The journey is done. The rest is absolute. Sleep now. Sleep in the light of the morning. Sleep in the dark of the night. Sleep in the silence of the stone. Sleep in the warmth of the wool. Sleep, sleep, sleep. The winter is over. The peace remains.